this week's topic's about AI generated content.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we're
Yeah.
gonna have a little deep talk about AI generated content on social media, on movie, on arts, and on pretty much everything that you see today,
Mm-hmm.
which is
Mm-hmm.
definitely flooding the internet. And not just the
Yeah.
internet, might I add.
Well, it's everywhere now.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, first of
So,
all, I got an interesting thing to talk about,
mm-hmm.
which is two fun terms that I've heard recently.
Mm-hmm. What is that?
The first one is called the infinite content dilemma.
The infinite
The
content
infinite
dilemma?
content dilemma. It states,
So how is it a dilemma?
yeah, so it states that, give me one sec. It states that, so the cost to produce art and content like a video or image
Mm-hmm.
is drastically lower now than it was
Mm-hmm.
before.
Yes.
Because before AI was a thing,
Yeah.
when it was like, I don't know, 5 years ago, right? Before
Mm-hmm.
AI was like, you're able to do all these crazy stuff with AI. If you want to produce a movie, like a video, you have to shoot it, right? You have to use a
Mm-hmm.
camera, right? You
Yeah.
had to hire a bunch of actors or do it yourself, right? But you had to do
Mm-hmm.
it, and you had to
You have to
produce
write the
it. You had to
scripts
edit it.
yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you want to produce an art, right, you had to paint it
Mm-hmm.
or hire someone else to paint it. So it's
Exactly.
either effort or money.
Mm-hmm.
And if I want to make a, let's say, like a board game, right?
Mm-hmm.
I will have to spend thousands or tens of thousands of dollars to hire an artist to do it for me,
Yes.
unless I'm
Exactly.
an artist
Yeah.
myself, right?
Yeah.
But now you just give AI a prompt, say, I want this and this.
Mm-hmm.
I have blah, 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 blah requirements.
Yeah.
You still have to engineer the prompt, right? But you don't need
Mm-hmm.
an
Yeah.
expertise in art anymore
Mm-hmm.
or pay thousands of dollars to someone else to do it. So the cost
Oh
of
well.
producing content, especially art, visual arts, is
Mm-hmm.
drastically lower than before. That creates, so if you know about supply, like basic economics, right? So if the
Mm-hmm.
cost of something is going down,
Mm-hmm.
if it's almost free, then there's
Mm-hmm.
going to be a lot of it,
Yes.
right? It's
Exactly.
flooding the
That's
internet.
what's happening now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So more and more, bigger and bigger proportion of the internet is now AI generated, right? That's called the
Exactly. Yeah.
infinite content dilemma. And the second interesting so that was the first thing I heard about. Okay, so that was the first interesting
Mm-hmm.
term. I feel like this is very interesting. And the second thing I heard is called the dead internet theory. Have you heard of that term?
Yeah. I've heard this one.
Yeah,
I've heard,
this
yeah.
is more commonly known, right? So dead internet
Yeah. Yeah.
theory states that since now more and more, a bigger and bigger proportion of the internet is composed of AI generated content.
Mm-hmm.
But here's the thing, right? AI, the large language models, they were being trained on the entire internet. So
Yeah.
basically, when the big companies they create a large language model, they would use a huge neural network with trillions of neurons, right? Connections and synapses, everything, right? And they'll write a program to tell the AI to go to the internet, just crawl through all the web page, like everything. I'll read everything.
Mm.
So it knows
Yes.
that it knows about what human being wants to see and what they like to see, and knows about, let's say, like how does it know you when you ask it, hey, write this essay for me, right? When you ask an LLM, write this essay for me, and this essay's topic is about, tell me about human history in the 1950s. And the AI, what AI is actually doing is, because it has been trained on the entire internet, so it reads through all thousands of or tens of thousands of, even millions of articles on the internet that's about all these stuff. So it knows what humans want to see, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So when you ask it to produce these content, it's gonna feed you stuff that is similar to what has been trained on.
Yes,
But here's the thing. That's not that internet theories anymore. That's just the fact. That's just how AI works, right? But here's the thing.
That's fact.
A bigger and bigger proportion of the internet is going to be AI generated content. So new AI models is going to be trained on that, which has a bigger and bigger proportion that's been generated by other AIs. So essentially, you're not creating anything new.
Yeah. You're like running in circles, right?
Yes.
Because the data you're training on is actually generated by other LLMs, right?
Yeah, and the thing is, because it's so cheap to use AI to do all these difficult work, the content creators or the companies that's creating all these media, obviously they want to save cost. I'm sorry, I just realized my video is a little choppy, so I just realized my computer's not plugged in. Let me do that.
Oh, the laptop is not plugged in, right?
Okay, now it should be good. Now it's better.
Much better now.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
All right.
Sorry about that.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, essentially that means it's the end of creation. It's the end of creativity.
Yeah.
There's obviously going to be caveats in that, so we can debate about that. But this is just a new term that I heard about, which I feel like is very interesting and thought provoking, right?
It is. Yeah. I heard that 20% of YouTube is now AI generated, right?
Yeah.
So we have a lane for generated, but not very important or creative stuff, which is AI slop, right?
Yeah.
So 20% of YouTube, or maybe 30 or 40% of TikTok is now AI slop, right? So yeah, I mean, the damage could be huge because I think most of them, people just don't watch them. Like you said, the cost of creating art has drastically drastically reduced, right? But once art is created, nobody is watching them, nobody is consuming them, right? So you have to have consumers to form an economy, right? So if there are a lot of AI stuff floating around, but nobody cares to watch, right? It's just a waste of, I don't know, everything, right? So I think it's really a serious problem.
Okay, let me ask you this question though.
Yeah.
You mentioned AI slop, right? Slop is a term of saying something that's worthless, right? It's just there,
Just
right?
like trash, right?
But let me ask you this question.
Yeah.
In your mind, what different? Because there are AI generated content that's actually good.
Good. Yeah,
we can't deny that, right? So what differentiates? But what's your definition of AI slop? Where do you draw that line?
Oh, I think if you use AI to generate a content that's for like purposes, just like educational purposes or entertainment, not necessarily entertainment, but for something for fun. For example, have you watched the video they made of Haaland, the soccer player?
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So Haaland is like sitting in a Chinese restaurant, like a pair of chopsticks in his right hand and basically a mantou, right? On that. In his left hand, and there was a mirror beside him, and he was like munching on the mantle, right? And then he looked,
I saw that.
noticed himself in the mirror, and he just frightened himself, right? Which is super funny. People use AI to generate like funny videos. If it's for that purpose, I think it's all right. But sometimes it's also used for deception and like misleading.
Yeah.
So you make the content to confuse like the audience, right? To make them believe something really happened, which didn't, right?
Yeah.
So I think that would be really dangerous and like harmful, right? Yeah. So
okay, I think that's a can of worms that we're gonna open in about 5 or 10 minutes. But let's in the entertainment, right? Let's assume that the intent is not harmful, right? So what I feel like where I draw the line is I think it's okay for AI to be used as a tool of automation. Let's say I have an idea that I want to present, right? But actually making a presentation of that high of a fidelity is very hard for me, right?
Yeah,
So
sure.
I'm gonna use AI to create that art for me, maybe a short video or something. But it gives my idea through to the audience, and I think that's okay. So I still have
For sure.
like I still came up with the idea that I want to present to my audience, right?
Yeah.
But then I'm just using AI as a tool to make my ideas a reality. Because if I don't have resources, I can't do any arts, and I don't know anybody that does arts. I don't have the money to pay people, right? I can't get
Me
my
neither.
idea through, right?
Yeah.
So if I use AI as a tool to just present my idea to the world, I think that's okay. But if you're using AI to just make some stupid stuff, I think
Yeah.
that I would
Yeah.
define that as a slop.
Yeah. There's
But then
too
again,
much
everybody
of,
has a different definition of what's
well,
stupid. So
yeah, for me, I think, yeah, what you said, I totally agree. What you said, for me, I would phrase this way. There has to be traces of human intellectual activity
yeah,
behind the thing,
sure,
right?
yeah,
So there has to be human mind behind the thing for it to be legit,
yeah,
right? Otherwise, it's just AI slop, right?
I agree.
So like you said, you can use AI as a form or as a tool to a mean to an end, right?
Yeah,
So I think that's no problem. But a lot of people they don't invest themselves in creating this. They just tell AI to generate whatever AI comes up with, right? So that makes it AI slop. I have people who who's doing that around me. I have a friend who told me he wrote a novel, right? So it's 150,000 words, but he's very busy working. He doesn't have time to write, right? But still, he has this work of his, a novel, right? So he sent it to me, but I really didn't bother to read it because I know it was AI generated, right? We all have this, I don't know how to call it, but at least with this, I'm just, people just refuse to spend their time on AI generated slop, right? So I think if you use AI like that, forget about it, right? But if you really have a good idea for art, for writing, you have a plot in your mind, you want to write it down, but you find it hard to articulate your idea, you can use AI as a tool, right? No problem with that. Yeah.
yeah.
So I think that's where you draw the line, right? Do you really have an idea inside of you, or do you not, right?
And another thing I feel is the vetting. So AI is not perfect. The content that AI generate can be faulty, can be false, and they not necessarily represent the real world, right? And I feel like AI is slop if you don't go through the effort to vet the content that AI generates. Let me give you an example of that. I have it in my hand. Wait, let me. Okay, so
Wow.
this
Yeah.
is a book that I bought on Amazon that
Okay.
is supposedly, if this says the ultimate guide to AMC 8 and Math Olympiads. So this is a book for a mathematics competition in the US.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if you open this book and if you go through the problems and their solutions, the first day I did this, I did 9 problems, and there are 2 problems that are just completely BS, completely wrong.
Okay. Okay.
And it's very
Well,
clear, it's blatantly clear to me that this is written by AI.
wow.
And they even have a
Yes.
website, and they claim that it's been edited by this person, Tong, right here, right? This is the
Yeah.
supposedly the author, okay? This person does
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
exist. I can guarantee you,
Yeah. No.
okay? So this book is completely written by AI. They
Well,
didn't do any of the editing. They didn't do any editing, any vetting, any proofreading, none of that, okay? They just printed it out, sold it at Amazon for 40, 50 bucks a book.
oh my God, that's robbery.
And then you'll see that it's got a very high rating, like a 4.5.
Oh my God,
And
that's terrible. I
if
mean,
you look through the comment section, And if you look at all the 5-star ratings, and if you look at
They're
if you
also
read them,
generated by AI,
they're
right?
all the same thing. Not like
Yeah.
literally the same, but like structurally they're very similar. They're all saying the same. They'll have the same sort of format, right? 4 sentences, and the first one is, "This is a very good resource for me to prepare," and they have perfect spelling, perfect punctuation, perfect capitalization,
Yeah,
everything.
you can recognize the pattern.
I can,
So
yeah,
everything
it's
is
very easy to tell that those are AI generated. And if you look at the 1-star ratings, one of which came from me, they're all saying it's AI. It's AI, and
yeah.
nobody proofread this. Anybody have any little education in math can tell this is fake. This is all full of errors.
I'm speechless. I understand. I'm aware that like the internet nowadays has been irreversibly contaminated by AI, right? But I didn't know like their contamination has extended their way
Yeah.
all the way into the real world, right? Into
Yeah.
bookstores, physical bookstores. That's terrible. Think about how many people it can mislead and or maybe miseducate. Yeah, that's terrible.
And if I was a busy parent, I don't have the time
I'm
to
doing the
check the
proofreading,
yeah,
right?
yeah. So I just bought it for
Yeah,
my kids, and now they're getting a
that's terrible.
raw
Yeah, that's
material.
terrible. Yeah, yeah.
And it wouldn't make
Well,
sense to them. It will confuse the kids.
yeah, I think that's one of the like worst like things that could happen when in this situation. You cannot tell which is which, right?
Yeah.
And who is who. So, there's so many like AI stuff floating around and yeah, you can never tell and you don't have the time to tell the difference, right? So yeah, so I think it's really harmful
Yeah.
in the way of
Speaking of harmful stuff that AI can do,
yeah.
I think we're ready to segue to our next segment,
Yep, let's go.
which is politics.
All right. Yeah. I guessed it. Well, I don't want to get too political here because it's a tech like show, right? It's not a political show.
Yeah, but
But
tech is about society, right? Tech is a
yeah,
integral part of
I,
society,
yeah, I
and
understand.
it's how people
Yeah,
use tech, right? It's
yeah,
not just
yeah,
about tech is cool, right? Tech is cool, but if the wrong people are using the tech in the wrong way, then it can be
yeah.
harmful. It's
Yeah.
not the tech's
Well,
fault, but
I
it's the
actually
people's fault.
noticed that like back in 2020, I think, like when the presidential election is about to take place, and there's a lot of, I don't know, it looks strange. I think it's AI generated, right? So like information about one of the candidates, right? He did such and such. I think both sides are using it now, right? So
Yeah.
let's take the US as an example. There are Democrats and there are Republicans, right? I think both sides are using this technique to attack their opponent, right?
AI
So
smear campaign.
AI smear campaign, yes.
Or
Yeah, good name. Yeah. Yeah, that's terrible because people cannot always tell the truth from AI generated lies, especially when the lies look so vivid, so realistic, right? And a lot of people they have been influenced by the information they have
yes.
digested, I think, unaware of it happening at all, right?
And the
So
midterm is coming.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, and
I
there's a
guess
lot of AI campaign ads on the flooding on the internet, and they're all like generated by AI, and they're not representing the truth.
yeah, no,
And guess what? People in America, especially, many of them do
they're
not have the
biased.
ability to discern what's
Yeah,
real and what's not,
yeah.
unfortunately.
So yeah, when I talk to people around me, like I notice that most of them are just like reluctant to really accept AI, but like it a lot, it's happening, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, they're worried that AI will take their job. I think part of it is true, but I think a more prominent danger they haven't talked about or they haven't seen at all is that AI will pollute their thought,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So I think it's happening. Yeah,
It is. It
it's
is
really happening.
definitely. Yeah. That's a very good point,
Yeah,
because a thought influencing, they work because people, even if you see that something is fake, exonerate you from being influenced by it.
Yeah, no, yeah, you're right. You're right.
If you see something that's ridiculous to you for a very long time and everybody believes it, people have a tendency of starting to believe that.
Yeah, yeah.
Especially
Just like
everybody around you believes it.
yeah, just like Dr. Goebel said, right? A lie repeated 1,000 times is a truth.
Yeah,
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 yeah, it's terrible. Yeah, now people are actually vulnerable, they're gullible to AI slobs, especially like well created packaged AI slob, right?
yeah,
Sometimes I even fall for it, right? I think I have a discerning eye to a
yeah,
point, but still sometimes I cannot tell it's AI until someone else,
yeah,
tester, in
yeah,
most cases, tells me, oh, it's AI, don't you see? Yeah, then I start to look at it more carefully, more closely, and then
yes.
I discovered I was lied to, right?
Yeah, I
That's
can relate to that. I
yeah.
saw a video of someone because the World Cup, right? The World Cup is happening right now. I saw a YouTube short, basically Cristiano Ronaldo from
Uh-huh.
Portugal, right? So
Yeah.
in the men's locker room, in the change room,
Mm-hmm.
and Cristiano Ronaldo is pointing at his teammate's nose. Pass me. That's the strategy. Pass me.
Well,
Yeah,
no.
I thought it was real until I saw it at the end that he started smacking his teammate. I was like, that
Yeah.
shouldn't happen, right? And this is probably, but I was able to discern it, but because I read through the comment, I saw more of the video, right? But I can
Yeah.
imagine a lot of people believing that's actually what's happening.
Yeah.
That actually happened. I
Yeah.
yeah, I can totally see how someone would believe that.
Yeah, because
And
like sometimes the AI generated stuff, they have the shock factor in it, and it is faster to grab the audience
yeah, yeah,
attention,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
So I think that's what's dangerous about it. And if you want to clarify something, oh, it said, hey, this is fake, this is AI generated, and people just don't hear you,
But
right?
yeah,
That's all like,
you're not you don't have a requirement to label this as AI generated.
yeah, you don't. Yeah,
You can,
that's
but people are gonna maybe
right.
people want to believe what they are interested in to see, right? What's interesting to
Yes,
them. People want to believe that.
yes.
And if you label it
Yeah,
as AI generated, they see
yeah.
that's probably not true, right? So you
Hmm,
can,
hmm.
yeah. So not internet, but like AI generated content can definitely control your thought and control, like, sway public's opinion about some persons or some parties or some products or whatnot, right?
Can and they are, yeah.
Yeah.
It's
And
terrible.
then here's my next question to you. This segues into our next
Hmm.
section. So do you support the idea that any AI generated content should be labeled as such
Well,
in public media, including
well,
social
yeah,
media
I
content, movies, music, art?
I think I do. I think I do. But I think it could be considered a relief to the situation, but not a solution.
Okay,
Because like you are legally required to label your AI generated content as AI generated, right? But like there are too many people who, who won't abide by the law, and there's no way you are going to enforce that
that's true.
because some didn't like label their content AI generated, right?
That's
So I
true.
think it like will involve too much cost for law enforcement, right? And people can only like act based on their moral principles, but what do
Well,
they do?
there will be some sort of mechanism in place. For example, YouTube will pay you ad money, right? You're monetized, like
Mhm,
your videos. So they'll
mhm,
probably just demonetize you if you didn't label it correctly.
mhm.
So
Yeah, yeah,
maybe that's a
yeah. I
way
hear
to.
that. Yeah, that's a way to do it to encourage real content. But at the same time, as AI is advancing, there are more sophisticated AI
Mm,
which can create content that looks even more realistic, right?
it's
And
true.
makes it harder to distinguish for even for the algorithm to distinguish it's AI generated, right? So I think this is becoming like an arms like competition now. So the AI is getting more powerful, and there's a spear and there is a shield, right? Both sides is getting more powerful each day, right? So yeah, so I think it's an endless struggle now, and Yeah, and I think it's really worrying. We're in a worrying situation because maybe in 5 years or 10 years, everybody, literally everybody, is detached from reality, right? Because we consume too much AI generated stuff, right? We cannot tell the false from the true anymore, right? So people have to believe whatever they want to believe. That's terrible. There's
That's a good
no,
point.
yeah. It's a terrible thing that could happen. I hope somehow we can figure out a way to really solve this problem.
Do you
I
have any
think we
suggestions how
can.
we solve this problem? I'm putting too
Well,
much pressure on you.
I don't, to be honest, I don't, because AI is getting too advanced, too sophisticated. Sometimes I feel like if you have very high, like, I mean, computing power in your AI to discern the AI generated stuff, but then all of a sudden there's somebody else who come up with even a more powerful AI to generate fake stuff that looks more realistic,
Mm.
right? So I don't think, yeah, I can find a way to solve it, but I think maybe somebody else can,
Yeah,
right?
deep fake,
Anthropic,
right?
Google. Yeah, if they work together, I think there might be something they can offer.
Yeah,
Maybe.
deep
Yeah.
fake can put anybody's face on a video of talking about anything.
Yeah. That's disrespectful, right? Because people use
Yeah,
their
and
public
people don't.
figures
Yeah,
and
you don't get you don't. You do it without that person's
consent.
permission,
Yeah, without
right?
consent for sure.
Without
Yeah.
consequences. And then here's the thing, though. Here's the thing. You used to be able to use video or photo as a crime evidence, but now
But now you can't anymore. Yeah, you
you
can't.
you you can't tell. The other person can just say it's deep fake.
Yeah. Everything has lost its validity, I
Yeah,
think.
yeah.
So you don't know what to believe now
When
anymore,
something
right?
can be fake, you have to assume everything's fake.
Because back in the days, we just believe whatever we saw on the
Yeah,
internet, right? Like
yeah.
maybe not like photos, pictures, because Photoshop has been around for a long time, right?
That's true.
But back in the days, they say you cannot edit the video, right? So it must be real. But now you cannot say that anymore because there are so many video editing AIs. There has been video editing tools for a long time, but it's hard to fake a realistic video, right? But
Hmm.
now with the help of AI, you can easily do that. So you cannot even believe in the video you saw on the internet. You have no idea what you can believe anymore, right? So yeah, I think that's what bothers me about AI slop because I'm just left high and dry in a limbo of whether to believe it or not. So that's just annoying because when I see something, I want to believe it or I want to refute it, believe it, but then I got no evidence if it's true or not, right? So that's confusing and annoying, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I think AI can be used as a useful tool for people to produce content, and that's the good thing about it. But it's
Yeah.
also can be harmful if used wrong.
Yeah, exactly. So I think technology itself is neutral, right? So
Yeah,
it all
yeah.
depends on how you use it. Yeah.
But the bad thing about it is everybody has access to it, and it's so easy to use.
Yeah.
So if something is very easy to use and it can be used by everybody, it's bound to be used wrong by a
Yeah.
lot of people.
Yeah. I believe so.
Yeah, yeah. Do you play video games, right?
Yeah, I do. I play all
Have
of
you
them.
any have you ever encountered any AI generated arts in video games
You mean in video games or based on the video game?
or anything like
For sure, like people have been doing this for a long time, even before AI. People just they edit some photos to show you some really fun situation. It was just for fun back in the
oh,
days.
I
Just like
I we the example I was talking about is
did you?
have you watched the big game show this year? The game of the year or last year? Last year. No, last year. There's
I don't
a
think I
I
do.
think it was
I think
called
I
the
have.
game show or something. I forgot what it's called. It's the game the game awards. The game awards.
Okay,
So the game of the
yeah.
year for last year was Expedition 33.
Okay.
Expedition
Expedition
33 is
33.
a RPG game, turn-based RPG. But there was some AI generated content in there. Not significant, but they failed to disclose that to the
You
committee
mean like inside of the game, there's some
inside the
sort
game.
of AI
Yeah.
generated stuff.
And they're like,
So,
there's also
okay.
AI generated code somewhere, I believe.
Oh, okay.
So the way I heard it is they got an award, right? But the award got taken away later on.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Also, I was playing this game called Crimson Desert. It was fairly popular.
Okay.
And in a house, I saw a picture hanging like some random farmer's house, right? I was just walking around exploring the world. And I saw a picture hanging on the wall that's basically like a horse that has 6 legs.
Okay. Yeah, that's weird.
And then they
I
patched it
didn't.
out. They patched it out after somebody found it out,
Okay.
which is very
Well,
interesting to me.
yeah, but there are horse with 6 legs in I believe it's in Scandinavian folklore, right?
Are you
You know,
sure?
like yeah, I think the horse of Odin has 6 legs.
Oh,
Yeah,
really?
maybe I remember wrong because
Okay.
when I played Final Fantasy, I noticed that like when Odin comes out, yeah, his horse has 6
Huh.
legs.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
That's good to
cool.
know. All right. Do you have anything else interesting to talk about?
Yeah, I think probably that's it for this episode, right?
Yeah.
I'm worried about the situation right now. How about you?
Me
If
too. I don't. Yeah. Thing is, I don't know if any solution exists. Even if even if I was a president and I can do anything I want, presumably,
yeah, but still,
I still don't know how to do it.
you can do about this.
Like, let's say climate change, right? If I was a president, I can do anything. If I was a king of the earth, I'll just say, just stop using carbon, stop burning fossil fuel, and the problem will be solved, probably, right? At least this problem will be solved. We'll have more problems, but that's beside the point. But for this AI problem, even if I will have all the power in the world, I don't know how to solve it. Because I can't stop everybody from using the tool.
Yeah, there's no obvious solutions for now.
Yeah. And you can't rely on everybody's goodwill to use AI correctly.
Yeah.
And that's the dilemma here.
Yeah, but I never put my faith in the goodwill of the general because I believe small
exactly
portion of the population who will just aim to do harm, right? Yeah, it happens. Yeah.
Okay, let's leave it at that thought.
Okay, yeah. So
all right.
Let's both think about it and see if we can come up with something, some good idea to to address this problem.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
Yeah.
Always a pleasure.
Next episode.
See you next time. Bye-bye.
Have a good night.